So in our next group, we are going to be talking about the Ann Arbor area and surrounding areas around Washtenaw County and Ann Arbor. And with us today are both from the Charles Reinhardt Real Estate Group, Darby Colano from our Reinhardt Saline office, and Jason Boggs from our Reinhardt West office. And they brought along with them Amanda Lawrence, one of our loan officers in the Washtenaw County area. Welcome, guys. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
And Jason, let's start with you. The University of Michigan, U of M Hospital, a lot of industry in Ann Arbor, everything from the housing stock in Ann Arbor, everything from first-time buyers all the way up to jumbo second and third buyers. What are you seeing? What are you seeing in Ann Arbor and from a housing stock and the buyer influx that's coming into Ann Arbor?
Sure. Our market's performing extremely well. You wouldn't think there is a pandemic going on. We're still very low inventory and a lot of demand. So things are selling really well. What that means on the buyer side is you really have to be really well prepared for the market. You've got to basically assemble your team. So, here's the obvious plug for John Adams Mortgage, but get your good local lender in there. Make sure you understand what your options are and you have your paperwork together, get your realtor in place, and start getting out there and exploring your options. There are still, like you said, Larry, there's still a lot of options here, and still a tremendous variety to our inventory, whether it be in Ann Arbor or just in the immediate surrounding communities. Even if you're in one of the surrounding communities, if you're working at U of M, you're a 20-minute commute. So it's not like it's a big giant city or anything. So, the critical detail here is just being prepared, having your ducks in a row so that you can compete when the time comes.
That's really good tip for borrowers, because when you have low inventory, you have multiple offer situation, which from the seller side is good because the prices are continuing to increase, which is wonderful. And I didn't introduce your cat.
I knew that was going to happen.
So from a price perspective, we're probably still seeing prices rise in the Ann Arbor area.
We are, yeah, very stable, if not rising in quite a few of the markets around here. Every neighborhood's kind of its own little market, but that's absolutely true at this point. Yes. And, I jokingly plug John Adams, but it does matter in Ann Arbor more than in most places that I've done business, is having a quality local lender, someone who's accountable, not just to the buyer, which is obviously important, but the buyer, the buyer's agent, the listing agent, the seller, everybody involved in the process is going to be holding that lender accountable. And so you want someone who has some teeth in the local market or some consequence if they do a poor job. So that really matters here more than in any other place that I've done business.
Yeah, I would agree. So Amanda, let's put it over to you. With the hospital, the university, prices all over the place in Ann Arbor, from again first-time buyer all the way up. Can you talk a little bit about what doctors can get from a mortgage perspective, in addition to some jumbo loans?
Sure. So there are a lot of special financing options for different physicians. And one of those is the doctor loan that we do provide. It's zero down payment up to $750,000. There's no PMI. So Joe had mentioned private mortgage insurance is typically required if you put less than 20% down. For this particular product, you do not have PMI. If you go above the $750,000, it's as little as 0% down for the doctor loan. And then we also have other jumbo financing options with as little as 5% down, and then that's up to $650,000. But we do finance all the way up to $3 million if needed.
So with the doctor loan, Amanda, in addition to MDs, are dentists, what other doctors are available to take advantage of this program?
Yeah, so it is specific for medical doctors, but dentists are allowed as well. Unfortunately, not chiropractors, but it does have to be a medical doctor. and they can take advantage of this product. There's also a lot of loopholes with the student loans and some exceptions for, qualifying them for maybe a little bit more than what they would be able to qualify on another product. So it's very lenient and specific to medical doctors, but it's a great program to get people's foot in the door.
Yeah, that's great, especially in an area like Ann Arbor with the hospital. So thank you both. So let's move it over to Darby. Darby, being in the Reinhardt Saline office, she does sell homes in Ann Arbor, but also specializes in the outer areas of Ann Arbor. And when you're looking in the outer areas of Ann Arbor, you're typically buying a home with a lot of acreage and larger lots. So Darby, what should people look out for when buying homes on additional acreage?
Well, good morning, everybody. First, I'm asking my client what their motivation is. Are they looking to get away from an HOA? Because you do have larger lots, 1, 2, 3 acres, that are still tied to an HOA. So that's something to pay attention to. I'm also finding out, are they looking to put a structure on the property? Do they want a pole barn, a shed, a built-in pool? Knowing that information up front is good because what we're checking for on the property are, where are the septic tanks? Where's the septic field? Buyer might have a specific plan on what they want to do and where they want to put their structure. And knowing where those are might change their plan and it might kill the deal. So that's just really good to know up front instead of 3 weeks into the process. Also, another thing is, on large properties, our surveys, if it's a very large property, do you need a survey to know where your boundary lines are? Are there any utility easements, especially if they are looking to put a structure on the property? That's good to know up front. Is the property on a private road? Then we're, looking, what's the private road agreement? And, these are all good things for the buyer to review up front. Instead of, like I said, 3 weeks into the transaction and something comes up that they're not comfortable with. So it just saves you and everybody time.
So in other words, when you're moving from a suburb with, when you're on a postage stamp lot to, a rural area, do your homework is what you're saying.
Yeah, and a lot of times I have to explain about a well and a septic and a water softener. So there's, they have no clue about that stuff. So explaining that and having that inspected, even having your softener inspected is important. So you're kind of educating them on, a lot of those things they did not have in the city or their postage stamp property.
Yeah. Yeah. And so thank you, Darby. So Amanda, back over to you. When you're buying a home in a rural area, there are programs for that as well. So tell us a little bit about the USDA program and how you can find out if the home you're looking for fits these guidelines.
Yeah, so the USDA is a great program, and in Washtenaw County, you can take advantage of this program. It is also a zero down program. And it's not necessarily for the city of Ann Arbor, but in Saline, Dexter, Milan, Tecumseh, there's a lot of areas around here that would qualify for this particular product. Like I said, zero down, only a 640 credit score is needed for this program. It is property specific, so you need to make sure that the home is in an eligible area, and there is a website that you can verify that. It's public access, so anybody can look it up. Your realtor can help you, your lender can help you look it up, and just make sure that you're looking in that qualified area. This particular program does have income restrictions, but in Washtenaw County, like a 2-person household, it's over $100,000. So it is a relatively high income restriction, and can allow a lot of people to take advantage of the zero down program.
Especially with the lower rates. Some would think zero down means higher rates, but that's not necessarily the case, correct?
Correct. The rates are still really good for the USDA program, also known as rural development, and good time to take advantage of these low rates. Excellent.
Well, Jason, Darby, Amanda, thank you very much. I really appreciate taking the time and talking about different areas. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.